Welcome to the Billy Ho Forecast Show. Please subscribe and like the video. Remember, the more you share, the bigger we grow. Now, let's go! Hello, Billy Ho here, coming at you on a Wednesday show with David, the DFS chef. We are going to do a special show for Wednesday since we couldn't get her done yesterday, but it gives us an extra day to check out the weather and check out ownership and, kind of get those player pools together and whatnot. So we're gonna kick it off just right and say what's up to David. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good, brother. How's it going today?
All right, man. Can't complain at all. Went and seen the new Top Gun Maverick movie yesterday. It was pretty tight. I kind of liked it. It was pretty good. But we're going to go ahead and get our started here, and I'm going to share my screen. Hello, Billy Ho here. Tuesday show with the DFS chef, David. And we are going to talk Tour Championship, a little strategy action, starting positions, little Willie Z sympathy cards going in the mail today. That man just lost a shit ton of money today by withdrawing from the Tour Championship. If you haven't already heard, the guy was slated to be in third place, starting at $5 million bonus. And now, after the withdrawal, if every other golfer completes 72 holes, he's DFL and gets 500,000. So, if I had some liquor, I'd pour out a little bit for you, brother. That sucks. But he's young and he's got his entire career ahead of him to make all that money. So, I guess he could have gutted it out and got 2 million or a million or something, and then went to the Live Tour and hobbled the rest of his career or something. But anyway, I'm going to say what's up to my man Dave, and we're going to get started here momentarily. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good, coming down to the last week here of the 2022 season. And then I think we get like 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, and then we're right back at it.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the 2023 schedule yet, but FYI, Billy Ho, and if David's down, he can come back. We're going to do some shows in the fall swing. And so I'm going to keep the PGA content going. And I'll be doing some football, NFL, DraftKings, and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off. All right. And this is where we usually start off our show with Dave's nice stat model here. And something that I wanted to point out before we get started, it is absolutely free. It's posted on the Discord already. I imagine you've already put it out on Twitter. So if you follow at the DFS chef on Twitter, you get this free. It gives you the starting score. It gives you his rank. It's got the format results over here, which I was looking at before the show started. And this is like the final score they ended up with and the actual score they had. So this is like starting points and ending points. So you can see who fired a little better, as far as score goes. Like the last year or two, I think this will be the fourth year for doing this. And also real quick, this is the starting position. So if you want to grab a screenshot or whatever, I posted it in the Discord. You can go Google it. Will Z is out, like I said, and there's your starting positions. All right, David, start us off, and we'll kind of go, I guess, in the top tier here, like the 9K and up. So start us off with that.
Yeah, definitely. And like you mentioned, fourth year of the new format, and you've seen the last 2 years of this format. The guy that has started in the first position the last 2 years has won. with this new format, and it was 2019 where Rory stormed back, where he started at -5 and caught and won back in
Mm-hmm.
2019 with this new format. Um, Not to say that guys that are further back can't catch the leader, because they can. Just depends on how well the leader is going to do. That being Scotty Scheffler. And are you paying $13,600 for Scotty Scheffler? And as informative as we both are, I highly suggest everyone go watch Rick Rungood's preview video, because Rick creates that spreadsheet and does a great job on breaking down the possibilities on guys
Right.
that have legit chances on winning with that spreadsheet he creates. And that could also help people make some lineups this week. Um, and that's why I most likely will be fading Scotty Scheffler. Um, I
Woo.
don't think I need to pay $13,600 for Scotty Scheffler. And like I said, Cantlay won last year because he had that two-stroke lead. But in all reality, that two-stroke lead should have been Jon Rahm's last year. If you remember, Jon Rahm had to withdraw after the third round of the Memorial for testing positive for COVID, and he would have stormed with that win, and he would have been in first coming into the Tour Championship last year. So, guys can catch, and if you go back, like you just showed the tab that I had new format results last week, I mentioned that Rory loves Eastlake, and Rory does love Eastlake, but there's one guy that loves Eastlake even more than Rory, and that's Xander. Um,
Yeah.
if you look on there, I did kind of an average score off to the right here um, over the last three times guys have played. Some guys have only played twice, some guys have only played once. But with Xander, we have all 3 years with this new format, and his raw score, his actual score, his average is 12 under par for the 3 years he's played at this course. The next
Man.
closest guy is Rory and JT at 8 under. So you will be seeing many of my lineups beginning with Xander this week. And I already have put a bet on him without the staggered start. Raw
That's yeah.
actual without anything. I think he was 7.5 to 1 to win it. And he's starting at 6 under. And if you take what he's averaged his last 3 years at 12 under, that's going to put him at 18 under, which means Scotty's going to need to shoot 8 under to tie him. Now, granted, could all be for whatnot, but I'm basing it off of that. So most of my lineups are going to start with Xander. Um, Rahm, why pay 10-9 for Rahm? Who, granted, he's only starting one shot behind Rory, but like I just mentioned, Rory's averaging a actual raw score of 8 under over the 3 years he's played here. So I might actually be looking at going, and Rahm's actually averaging 7 under, but I believe he's only been here 2 times. I don't remember. No, 3 times. He's been here all 3 times. So he's averaging 7 under. So realistically, if they both shoot with their average, Rahm's going to shoot and get to 10 under, and Rory's going to get to 12 under, right? Yeah. So I probably am looking at going with Xander and Rory up top above most of these other guys. I mean, you look at JT. JT's history here is crazy, but he is not firing on the cylinders he was
I
firing
agree.
on in the past. So as good as he's been here, I can't really trust him, especially when finding fairways is extremely important at East Lake. The rough is very penal. One of the most penal roughs out on tour is East Lake. So if you're missing fairways, you're probably costing yourself a stroke, if not two. And the way JT's been shooting lately, I can't trust going to JT. So I'm probably looking at going and starting with Xander and Rory this week.
All right. That sounds good. I'm definitely with you on the Xander take. I That was the first one I thought of. You got A, no cut event, B, East Lake. First ever tour win was at the tour championship as I think he was a rookie. I want to say he won that tour championship. It was like 2017 or something. I can't recall. Well, I guess it would be.
It was either 16, 15 or
Yeah, it must
16.
be. It must have been pre 18
Yeah.
because he won this tournament. That I know. And he is just, you can see his results. He's hashtag Team Zoyza. He likes those soft, spongy Zoyza fairways. JT's the same way, and I do agree with you on the JT because that's why I didn't run him back. I played him at St. Jude, and he didn't perform, so I left him off the squad last week, and he came out firing Thursday, and I thought he is going to rub my face in this. And then after that, he couldn't putt. When he gets squirrely with the driver, he has a really hard time. And like you said, if he's missing fairways, he's in trouble. And this stuff is that 2.5-inch Bermuda rough, like you said, just like St. Jude. So if you're in the rough, you're in big time trouble, and it starts at a half a stroke because a lot of times you're just chopping out to a number, and then you're trying to fire it in close and make a par. And so with that said, I am going to be playing some Xander. I think I still have interest in Scotty because I have and this is not a big sample size, but this is East Lake from 2018 to 2021. And so I was kind of just looking for guys that scored. And Scotty only has 4 rounds, but he performed pretty well in his first outing. I want to say okay. So I'm not really sure why you got 22, 25. That confuses me because I only got 4 rounds showing here for Scheffler. May have messed this up. Let me look. Tour Championship. Yeah, 22nd.
He played 20. He played in 2020.
Yeah, he also played in the 5th in 2020. Two complete polar opposites. Five on approach. Last year, I'm going to say I don't know that he was the player he is now, but he definitely had -6 putting, which we all know what he's done well, but he has faltered a bit. So you may have just swayed me a hair bit on this paying the highest price. Cantlay also, I don't feel as strongly, even though this is my recent form model. This is the East Lake model, and he falls down the board a little bit. So the East Lake model is going to show Xander. I am definitely going to have some Rahm because I feel like he turned a corner last week. After the first 27 holes, he was terrible. Rory, I think I'm down with Rory, and I think I will have to confirm Cam Smith's health because he does nothing but make putts and score. So I'm looking at Cam Smith as well. Burns, I think I might give Bermuda Burns a run. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But to just fall flat on 9K here, Cam Young. I'm feeling some Cam Young this week. I like the third place finish at Heritage. He performed on a strategic course where it's not just bomb and grip it and rip it. He can putt. I think he's a little better on Bermuda than anything else. His ownership looks all right compared to the guys around him. I'm going to take a quick look at his profile. So yeah, much better on Bermuda over the long haul, and he has given it up. He lost 5.5 at FedEx St. Jude. I think this sometimes with these young players that this number here, when you look at it, is a little bit noisy because he doesn't have a whole lot of sample size to where we know where he's at just yet. But like I said, the third at Heritage, the second at Wells Fargo, which was at the shorter course, I want to say par 70 or 71, similar at the in Washington, D.C. I can't remember the name of the course off the top of my head. So Cam Young will be the other one. And getting down here into these lower range guys, what do you think? I want to talk about a couple of guys here, but where are you sitting at in the 8K? We'll just say 8K and down. and we can just kind of run it on out.
Well, I mean, I do believe that you're going to see another stars and scrubs week build because most people that are making lineups are going to try and get a lot of value at sub 7 probably. Um, I know when I watched the preview video for Rick when he broke down the spreadsheet he created, he mentioned 6 guys that legit have a shot at winning this based on at least based on the math. And obviously it was the first 4: Scheffler, Cantlay, uh, Xander, Willie Z, and then he went with Rory and then Finau. Those were the 6 guys based on the math that he put down as legit shots at winning this week, um, which is a bit crazy when you look at it. I mean, we're on Bermuda. Sam Burns, he wasn't great here last year, but Sam Burns is starting at -5. But then again, you're saving yourself $300 by going to Finau, who is tied in my stat model first with Scotty Scheffler. So, I mean, I probably am going to look to maybe get uh, some Finau, and I'll obviously pivot off of a couple of these guys to create some variation to it. But
Uh-huh.
it's probably going to be that kind of build where you're trying to get yourself three of the higher price guys. So Cameron Young, even at 9, is probably going to be contrarian. Um, I've never really been much of a guy that clicks on Hovland's name, but Hovland to me is a little intriguing
Mm-hmm.
um, this week. He's starting at 2 under. I mean, granted, this is the third time he's been here, but if you look at what he's done, Hovland for the 2 years that he's played here, when you take the average, he's averaging about an actual raw score of 7 under par. So if he can do that, that's going to
He
put him at
flat
nine
out,
under.
yeah,
That'll
he
put him at
he
nine
flat
under.
out scores.
Yeah, so Hovland intrigues me. So I might have, like I said, I might have that Xander Rory or even Xander Rom, and then maybe my third guy in could be Hovland, and then we'll go from there. Um, I think Morikawa is going to be very popular just because of his price, and I I can't see it. I mean, he flashed a little bit at St. Jude, but then last week went kind of right back into the crapper. So he's definitely got some question marks. Um,
It's hard to say with him.
yeah, I do think Scott Stallings is going to be very popular. Um, he's just been, other than St. Jude
Phenomenal.
missing, yeah, other than St. Jude missing the cut, which I mean I can forgive him. He came right back last week and you know finishes in second place. So I think Stallings is going to be very popular at 7,400. The guys where I'm looking at to try and get some kind of separation are going to be the guys that are starting at like even par, but just based on what they're doing recently. Um, Adam Scott over the last 2 weeks, and I mean he's a proven winner. He's a proven guy that steps up in majors. So I think Adam Scott's probably going to be very popular. Um, and then Aaron Wise and JT Poston off of what they're recently doing. I think there's your salary savers, and Poston at 5,100 and Aaron Wise at 5,400. And a pivot from Scott, if Scott's going to be crazy high owned, um, Tagala. I think Sahith Tagala could be a guy that possibly wins some people some GPPs this week.
All right. You're not lying there. I do like the Gala because the guy he has no fear, and he definitely scores. But shout out to our man Big Daddy Gator who had a big week last week. Uh, just cleaning up everywhere. Won some satellites. Won his first GPP. Won a free Billy Ho T-shirt because he nailed this KH Lee, man, and I know that probably carried a lot of his lineup. But I put Sebastian Munoz versus KH Lee, and KH Lee just laid the wood. Munoz was a big disappointment, but KH Lee was awesome last week. I thought, well, maybe if the putter runs dry, and I just didn't see it, but Big Daddy did, and he got paid off for it. So shout out to him. But this mid range is kind of juicy. I watched Corey Connors on Sunday, and dude was flat dialed in with the irons. I mean, he almost didn't even need a putt on 3 or 4 holes because he almost jarred it. Like at least 3 times he left himself inside of 2 feet for tap in birdies. And then he also missed and he made 4 bogeys on the day. So he was really up and down. But if you want to talk about DK scoring, and this is one spot where I will say this, Dave, that I mildly disagree with Rick Run Good on his strategy, looking for players that win. Oh well, there's only 6 players here that can win the thing. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for DraftKings points. I want guys that can score like on your model here. When you went back, I believe it was, let's see, Dustin Johnson, and so he wins, but Xander outshoots him in the actual scoring and outscored him. I believe he outscored him. It was close to even because Dustin only beat him because of the extra 10 points for the win. And then he beat Rahm by like 20. And Rahm started off way higher than him on the scoring. So you can see him, he beat him by 6 strokes. So stuff like that matters. I think pure DraftKings scoring, because once after, I mean, you definitely want to pick a guy that you think's going to win, and you want to try to get as many guys in your lineup you think might win. Yes, but with the pricing the way it is, you're not going to be able to jam in 3 or 4 guys.
No.
But if you drop down, I mean, you got if you go Rahm or Rory, I mean, they're borderline, and Will Z's out. Xander is basically the only one we think up top that can win. I mean, Cam Smith, it's close. I think if he got red fire hot, you could probably start a lineup Xander Cam. But down here, I'm looking at guys like I'm not so sure about Billy Ho. He's got a great record here, and he's my dude and all, but that he just didn't seem to have it last week, and even the week before. He's just not getting the DraftKings points like I want. I still may have a piece of him depending on ownership. Adam Scott, that's a dude that's been running hot with the putter. But Brian Harmon down here, I think, is a dude that can put together some DraftKings scoring. If you go over here to the recent form model, I believe he's down here. He's pretty low, so I was wrong about that. But he can pop, and I think this is the type of course he can do it on because it's fairways and greens. We're gonna have rain in the forecast, so that's another Rory bump. Wet courses Rory likes. Another guy pivoting off. If you want to pivot off Scott and Wise, I think JT Poston could be a good one. He seems to be losing the driver a little bit, but I uh, I just don't know what to do with him. He's so good. He's such a good putter, and he's so good around the green that he might sneak up in there. And he's definitely a punt play because he's in that 25th. He's in that even par ballpark. Hoagie, I'm not in on, but Harmon at least gets an extra stroke. Or is he on the twos? Let's see. No, he's in the one under Harmon. But when it comes to this, after you get to, I don't know, let's see, top 3, 4, 5. If you move up from 30th to 7th, you're gaining a whole ton of DraftKings position points. So that's something to think about. And do you have anything else to add, Dave, on players or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with you. I mean, obviously, it comes down to DraftKings points. I mean, if you go back and look at last year, I mean, Kevin Na, I'm sure was in the optimal, who started at 2 under,
Absolutely.
and he shot an actual score of 14 under last year, which vaulted him all the way up to third. So Kevin Na was in the optimal. I want to say Billy Horschel was probably in the optimal last year because he started at even par and shot 10 under last year. So, I mean, Billy Horschel was probably in the optimal. So obviously, you want to try and find guys
There's
uh,
another one. He ain't in
that
it.
are
Terrell Hatton was a guy.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to find guys that are priced low that like you said have the ability to move up, and guys that can score. So obviously, you know, that's why we're looking at guys like Aaron Wise and JT Poston. I mean, you look at the birdie and better percentage. I mean, that's what you're going to want because I mean, it's not the most scoreable course, but it's not the hardest course either. I mean, you look at Wise, his birdie or better percentage is 20, little over 23%. Adam Scott slightly over 23%. So I mean, those are guys you want to kind of look at. I mean, based on uh, Rick's spreadsheet that we're looking at, if we go over and he has it set up where he has the last 12 rounds, last 24 rounds, last 36 rounds, and then way long form last 100 rounds. But if we could take like the last 24 rounds of play, which is a stat that I really like to go at, if all of these guys all shoot just their average scores, um, Scott Stallings is projected to finish ninth. So he would be moving up a good amount versus like Sepp Straka, who's starting at one stroke ahead of him. But just based on if they all shoot average, Straka is supposed to drop all the way down to 29th based on if everyone just shoots their average score. So I mean, that's why Stallings I think is a huge value. Um, and you got to look at that. You got to look at the guys that are down low that can give you the scoring, give you the birdies, and then look at the guys up top that have the legit chance at winning this. And I think that's going to be where almost everyone's going to make builds. A balanced build is definitely going to be contrarian this week.
Yeah, I agree with that because everybody is trying to jam up top and then go down low. But I think we covered quite a bit. I think we got some good strategy going on. So we're going to leave it at that. There was a few guys that I noticed down here. We didn't mention Jordan Spieth, who shows up in all four of my recent or birdie or better DK points that I organized it by that sorted by. So last 6 months he's second, last 3 months he's fifth, last 2 months he's fourth, and then the last month he does drop down to about eighth or ninth, but he's still there, and he lost 4.6 strokes. No, that was Rory actually. Rory lost 4.6 putting. JT or Spieth suffered with the putter because I watched him. He missed a lot of putts he should have made, but I think he still made like 17 birdies, so he was right up there in birdie or better. So good luck everybody this week. Thanks to the DFS chef David for joining me, and until the next video, good luck this week, everybody, and peace.